or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, you already know it. You are fabulous. All right, so today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. Thank you, Skillshare. We're going to be doing some Farmhouse. I am very excited about this stuff. I'm going to be bringing y'all some Easter stuff eventually. I had some Farmhouse ideas that I wanted to get done, and I've been really itching to get back into just the neutral decor. So that's why the last couple of videos have been that way, and this one included. So we will be doing some Easter, just not yet. But anyways, as you can see, I'm back in the dining room. The craft room, it got way too cold out there. It's not insulated real well. And as you know, the temperatures have dropped like super low. We've had like 8 degrees outside, for heaven's sakes, y'all. And I live in Tennessee. So this old girl is not used to the cold. I don't like it at all. Anyways, I'm back in the dining room and I am pumping out some DIYs that I have for y'all. I cannot wait for y'all to see these today. So let's jump right in. Alrighty, welcome everybody. I'm so excited about these DIYs. I really think that you guys are going to love these. All right, DIY number 1. So for this one, I started out by using one of these little candy dish bowls from the Dollar Tree. I've also got some styrofoam balls, and then I have got some reindeer moss also from the Dollar Tree. All of that came from Dollar Tree. Now, I've got these little half beads, and these are just the coolest thing, y'all. I got these on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box for them. It was like 300 of them for like maybe 10 or 12 bucks. I don't know, but I've got so many ideas for DIYs with these because they're just going to be so handy to use. But one side is rounded, obviously, and then the other side is flat. All right, now I'm taking that candy dish and some painter's tape, and I'm just going to tape myself off a line. Now, you don't have to do this, but I did it just so that I could make sure that my line, we're going to be putting those beads around the top of this, and I just wanted to make sure that I kept it all, you know, even in a straight line. I tend to kind of go downwards when I do stuff, so I thought I would make sure and give myself a straight line. Now, I'm using the Starbond high performance. This is super glue, and it's actually white. I don't know that it dries white. I'm not totally sure. We are going to be painting this, but I thought I would try something different and do the Starbond for this. And plus, it wouldn't be as bulky as, say, hot glue or something. But I'll have a link in the description box for that Starbond and also a discount code. They've given you all a discount code for today. All right, now, I just continued this process all the way around the bowl. I just added just a little dot of the super glue and then just continued to place my beads all the way around. And I lucked out whenever I placed that last bead because, y'all, it fit perfect. And I was so worried that I was going to get around there and, you know, not so good. All right, now I took that reindeer balls and I put it in a container just to kind of keep it contained, obviously. I didn't want it going everywhere, so it's easier to use if you just stick it down in some kind of little Tupperware bucket, you know, type deal, something like that. But I took my styrofoam balls and I just placed hot glue all over it and then, you know, laid it down in that reindeer moss. I picked off any excess that stuck to it, but I used a silicone mat in order to hold that, you know, while it dried, because obviously you could burn yourself with the hot glue, but it is on a low setting since I was using it on the styrofoam, but this worked out perfect. And then I just took my scissors and trimmed off, you know, where it was kind of, just kind of bumpy looking and whatnot. I wanted it to be super round and really look like the little moss balls. So I just took those scissors and trimmed around it. Works out perfectly. I've never actually made these before, so this was super simple to do. Like I said, I've got my hot glue gun on the low setting. I just add my hot glue to the styrofoam ball, place that ball right down in that moss, and I did cut up my moss a little bit just to make it a little easier to kind of have it where it was a little less bulky and it would just kind of lay flat on that ball. And then, like I said, I've got my my styrofoam, Lord. Anyways, okay, so y'all saw what I did there. Let's leave it at that. Now, for the rest of the balls, I did 5 like that with the moss, and then for the rest of them, I'm going to be using this hemp rope that I got from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box for it also. I like it a little better than I do just regular twine because it's about the same consistency as twine. It's just not as fuzzy. You know how twine's kind of got like the little pieces hanging off and whatnot? This hemp rope is very tight tightly wound, I guess you would say. So anyways, we're just going to be rounding that all the way around this ball. I just kept adding a little line of hot glue, and then I would just wind it around it. But we're also going to be using the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. We're going to do 2 with that. And to do that, with the nautical rope, I actually took that nautical rope, opened it up, and then if you undo the end of the nautical rope, it will turn into three pieces. It's actually 3 pieces wound together. So that's why you see the little squiggly pieces there. That is actually the Dollar Tree nautical rope, and I just pulled it into 3 separate pieces. That way it'd be thinner and easier to work with. But I did those balls the same exact way, just wound it around there. Now I'm taking my silver lining chalk paint and also my plaster chalk paint, and I'm going to start out with the silver lining and just paint this entire bowl with that. Now, I didn't have any problems with those beads trying to pop off while I was painting them. Now, I mean, I went easily, you know, while I was going over the beads, but as far as that super glue, it worked phenomenally because those beads did not budge. Once they were on there, they were on there, and they only set for about 10 minutes or so before I started painting. So that should just tell you how well that stuff works. Now I just painted this entire bowl with my silver lining chalk paint. Use my heat gun in between coats because I did give it 2 coats, and I'll leave a link in the description box for that heat gun because it is also a fantastic product to have in your crafting stash. And it comes from Amazon. It's like $10. All right, so I've got my chip brushes, and now that small chip brush, y'all, I will leave a link in the description box for it, but let me go ahead and tell you this. I actually found the link for that chip brush on another YouTuber's page, and I set my Amazon reminder to where if it came available, because they're constantly sold out. So I actually had it set to where if it came available, it would notify me, and it took about 6 months before I was able to get those. And I do believe that they are already, like, it says currently unavailable or something when you click on the link, but I will leave the link in the description box for y'all. And, you know, maybe just by chance, y'all can possibly grab you some of those. But anyways, I just took that plaster and dry brushed it first. And then I went back with my Antique Waverly Wax and dry brushed it with that. I'm actually going to take my hand and just kind of smear that in. I didn't even use a cloth or anything. I just literally took my fingers and hand and smeared in the antique wax. Y'all, this little bowl is so stinking cute. Like, it turned out so good. I went back over that with the plaster one more time. I just took my chip brush and just kind of dry brushed back over it just to lighten it back up, really give it that aged look. Oh my gosh, look at that. I love it. Love it. And that's all I did to this. This is such an awesome little decor piece, and I am absolutely in love with it. Before we go any further, I would like to give a huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so Skillshare is an online learning community that offers thousands of online classes that are built perfectly for your everyday real life. So whether you are wanting to brush up on some techniques for something that you already do, or maybe you are wanting to actually learn something new, I mean, why not? It is the perfect time to learn something new. Then Skillshare is the perfect place for you. They offer classes on photography, crafting, video production, cooking, you name it. They've got a class for it. I'm telling y'all, seriously. I'm actually taking the hand lettering classes, and I love it. I love that I can do it at my convenience, on my schedule. I also love that I'm doing something for me, something that I can be proud of. So y'all be sure and go check them out, because for my first 1,000 subscribers, they are offering a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. After that, it's only like $10 a month for you to continue to take these classes. So it is a win-win all the way around. You will learn something new and be a part of a community. I mean, this is just perfect, especially for right now, this day and time. The world is just yucky that we're in. So go take a class, enjoy yourself, encourage yourself, be around others that are going to encourage you. But definitely check this out, y'all. All right. Let's move right on into DIY number 2. So DIY number 2, this one is my favorite out of this whole thing, and it was the easiest to do. So I've got these round wood, like the chunky rounds from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got these candlesticks that came from a flea market that I got for like $2 a piece. I took some of the spackle that comes from the Dollar Tree and just filled in the holes on those wood rounds. I'm then going to take my elephant chalk paint and paint all of this. Y'all, I could have easily just done one coat of paint on these. That's how well that chalk paint covered. And I was shocked because obviously these candlesticks are like glass or something, not glass, but y'all know what I'm saying. They're slick feeling. So that chalk paint worked out fantastic. I've actually never used the elephant color, but hey, it did its job for sure. I did do 2 coats on everything just to make sure, but like I said, I could have gone with one. Now I'm taking a small narrow brush, and I'm just going to take my antique wax and go around just the inside portion of each of those little lips that there is on these candlesticks. Like everywhere there's a little indentation, I actually did with the antique wax. And I gave it a pretty heavy coating of that. Now, I wasn't dry brushing. I was actually putting it on there. And then I'm going to go back with a baby wipe and just kind of dab at it. I'm just kind of wiping at it just to kind of blend it in and take off some of the excess. But I wanted that to look like it had kind of like a shadow effect to it. So that's why I went just in the indentions. I didn't hit any of the high spots, nothing like that. I just strictly went where there was a dip in it, an indentation in it. See there? Oh, I love these, y'all. I'm in love with these candlesticks. I've been wanting a set of like chunky Farmhouse candlesticks for a while now, and I just can't find any that are reasonably priced because they are outrageous, y'all. Oh my goodness. So I decided I would make my own. So that's what we done. Now I'm taking that my other chip brush, and I have got silver lining chalk paint on it, so it's a little lighter gray color, and that I'm going to actually just dry brush over all the high points. So we've got the antique wax to kind of shadow, and then we've got the silver lining to dry brush over the high points, and that kind of highlights it. So more or less you are like contouring these candlesticks, kind of. I mean, kind of the same difference. So like I said, I just dry brushed over all the high spots. These turn out so stinking good. I could not have found a pair to buy that I liked more than the way these turned out. Look at that. Oh my goodness, they are so fabulous. Oh my gosh. Okay, so once I got that done, I'm actually going to take the rounds, the wood rounds, and we're just going to hot glue those right on top. And that's going to give us that big flat surface for like a pillar candle to sit on. These candlesticks were originally for the long skin, I think they're called tapered candles or whatever. So I didn't want that, obviously. I wanted to be able to put a big candle on it, and that's why we went with the wood rounds. And also the wood rounds are so chunky that it just added a whole nother level to these candlesticks. But just hot glued those dudes on. Now, if you want this to be permanent, you want to do something like E6000 or super glue or something like that. But I thought, no, I'm just going to do hot glue for video purposes and it'll be fine. So that's what I did. Now, I did have to go back and dry brush those because I actually painted everything before I glued those on for some reason. I just wasn't thinking. But just went back and dry brushed those dudes right over the top of it. Look at these, y'all. I'm so in love with these candlesticks. Oh my goodness. So for the other two, I did the same exact thing. I just took that antique wax, went in all the indentions. I'm just giving it that shadow. Go back with my baby wipe. I'm then going to dry brush with the silver lining, and that's it. Look at the transformation. Do you remember what they looked like when we started? Y'all, these are so awesome. I know I said it last time, but I am in love. All right, moving right along, DIY number 3. So for this one, I have got one of the blessed calendars, and I've also got a pail that I got from the Goodwill for $2.99. Now, I'm going to be using this Kills chalk paint, and it is about the same exact color as the Silver Lining chalk paint by Waverly. And that is why I used it. I wanted to keep everything kind of generally in the gray color scheme or whatever, so that in the end, it all matches. But I don't normally recommend the Kills chalk paint, but this one worked pretty dadgum good. My mother-in-law had actually bought it and used in a project, and then she gave me what was left over. So I decided I would use it on this pail. I knew I was going to need to do 2 coats, and I didn't have enough of my Silver Lining. So it worked really, really good on this pail, though. I will have to say, it was very good coverage. It dried really well. I ended up giving this 2 coats of paint. Then I'm going to go over it with some clear wax by Waverly. Now, I've never used the clear wax, but I thought I would give it a shot, see how this worked, see if it would kind of help keep the paint on there, because obviously with it being metal, it's going to chip really, really easily. So I thought I would try it kind of as a polyacrylic type thing, and I'll let y'all know how that works. Eventually, we'll see how long it stays on. All right, so I took my calendar page, and I just went right around the outside edge of the print that was actually on that page. We're going to be using the Simply Blessed page. And like I said, just right around the outside edge of the greenery and the print that was on there. I then go in with some Mod Podge. I use a generous amount. Just smooth that out really, really well right there in the bottom of that pail. Add my calendar page, and then I'm going to go right over the top of that calendar page and smooth it out. Add a little more Mod Podge to the top. I didn't add a lot, just a little, and I had no wrinkles, y'all. It worked out perfect. All right, now I'm taking the antique wax, and I'm just going to go right around the edge of that inside lip there, like right where it meets the side. Where it would normally rust, that's exactly where I'm going to be putting this antique wax, actually all over it, but I end up putting it in, the places that it would naturally rust. And this looks so authentic, like when we're done. It looks so real. So I just went around the edges, I went around the hardware, I went around the bottom, just anywhere that it would, like I said, naturally rust. I then take a baby wipe and just barely hit at it, just to kind of take off some of the excess, kind of, blend it in a little bit. Y'all, this was so simple, and it completely transformed this pail. Check this dude out. Oh, I love it. All right, DIY number 4, and definitely the most easy DIY in this video. All right, so I have got these like wood grain looking frames that I got from the Dollar Tree. I've also got some paint sticks and some craft sticks. I've got some greenery and a wreath. Now, As you know, on my channel, I like to make the old farmhouse window seals. I do that a lot. I've done it with a couple different things, like use different stuff. So I'm always on the lookout for something that I can use to make the window seal. And when I saw these frames from the Dollar Tree, I knew it instantly that they would be perfect because the wood grain on them is just, it's great. It is. And they're thick. Like normally the Dollar Tree frames are not very thick. They're like thin, you know. So these were absolutely perfect for this. So if you're wanting to do a farmhouse window frame with all Dollar Tree stuff, then definitely keep a lookout for these frames at the Dollar Tree. Now, I just put the frames together. I flipped them over, took the glass out, took the little metal hinge thing, the little metal, well, I don't even know what you call them, but the little things that hold the glass in, I picked those out with pliers. I then flipped them over, took my craft sticks and my paint sticks and just started gluing these dudes together. Literally just cut it off, made these work, added some hot glue, and placed them right down on it to put this together. Now, I am using my miter shears to cut those painter sticks, and I'll leave a link in the description box for those miter shears. They work great, but I'll be 100% honest, they are kind of hard to squeeze. Like, I don't have a lot of strength in my hands for some reason. The older I get, the less, I guess, carpal tunnel or something, I don't know. But anyways, they are hard to squeeze. Now, once I got my frames together, I'm going to take my chip brush. It's just got the, you know, fringy bristles on it. It's perfect for dry brushing. I've got my plaster chalk paint. I just kind of wipe my paint off and then look at how well these distress. These frames are so perfect. Like, you could use these in so many different DIYs because you can distress them so easily. That paint picks up on each individual little line and crease and just the wood grain that's in there. And these are plastic frames. Look at that. I cannot get over how well that they distressed. Literally just going over them with a chip brush and a very, very light coat of paint. I do this all the way around it on every single frame. I make sure to get the outside edges, you know, around the outside of it. But this was so easy. Check that out. Are you believing that? That is a plastic frame, y'all. It looks just like real wood. Okay, so I started out with this wreath, and it is pitiful. I mean, it's a little pitiful looking. So the more I messed with it, the worse it got. It was getting everywhere. I had pieces of it going everywhere. So I said, to heck with it. We're just using the greenery, and that's it. So I just took that greenery, wound it around into a circle. I've got some burlap ribbon that I got from burlapfabric.com. I'll have a link in the description box for burlap fabric. And this is really good burlap. It comes in huge rolls for very reasonably priced. I've then got some black burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar General store, and it was only like $2. So watch out at the Dollar General store because you never know what you're going to end up finding there. Now, I just took that burlap, as you can see there, folded it over our frame. I actually put it in between the greenery and then folded it over. I just flipped all that over, cut off my excess. We're going to actually hot glue this straight down to the back of that. That way, if I decide to change it out or do something different, you know, I can just peel it off. It won't be, you know, a big deal just to peel off that hot glue. But literally just added some hot glue. We're going to place that right down. I told y'all this was the easiest one. And it really makes a statement. Like, this would be so nice on somebody's wall or propped up against something on a shelf or, yeah, it's perfect. Check it out. And now for the final reveal. I hope that y'all have enjoyed these. that is it for today. What did you think? Oh, love them. Those candlesticks are like, oh my gosh. Absolutely in love with those candlesticks. Anyways, all right. So if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps my channel. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family and subscribe, for heaven's sakes. What are you waiting for? All right. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you will know each time I upload a new video. Go check out thecoffeeshop.com. It's ko-fi shop.com. Then you'll just search for Blessed Beyond Measure, or there is a link in the description box that will take you straight to it. Just find it in the description box. It's a whole lot easier. Anyways, that is a site where you can actually purchase most of the DIYs that you see made on this channel. I also have a Facebook and Instagram page, and those are both Blessed Beyond Measure Crafts. They are great places to connect with me. All right. Thank you so much for being with me today, and y'all have a blessed day.